Suppose just for a moment that you were a parent living in a remote corner of, say, Malaysia, and you had a child who needed open heart surgery. First of all, you had not at all the money to finance that kind of operation, and anyway, even if you did, there wasn't a doctor in your country who could perform it. Where would you turn? Well, you'd have a chance, it turns out, despite all of those odds against you, because of the efforts of a number of interested Americans in the Twin Cities area in Minnesota. Eric Burns has a report on that this morning.
In 1969, an American soldier met a Vietnamese child who had a serious heart disease. So serious, he was going to die. The soldier wrote to his father, who was a doctor in Minneapolis, asking him to save the child's life. The child was flown to the United States, operated on, and did live. And this was the beginning of the Children's Heart Fund.
It's a remarkable program. It helps kids from all over the world who would not otherwise get heart surgery. A lot of volunteers, dedicated doctors. I said, this is something the rest of the country ought to know about. So a few weeks ago, I was out there and visited the program on a day when a young girl from India was going to have surgery. Abbott Northwestern Hospital in Minneapolis provides space and equipment at a reduced cost. And there is a community of over 200 volunteers whose activities range from spending time with the children to asking corporations for money. Dr. Kaiser and the people of the Children's Heart Fund have found a very profound way to express the power of love.
But it was just a few months ago he operated under very different conditions when he accompanied a team of volunteer doctors and nurses to Kenya, Africa.
I guess you could say that we were doing open heart surgery in Kenya as was done here probably 25 to 30 years ago.
It's one thing to hear about it and say, yes, I care and I want to help, but there's nothing that beats being there, getting to know these people, and becoming friends. It makes you want to do all that much more.
There's just no way to describe the feelings you go between. It's very overwhelming, but I'm doing the right thing. I'm here, and I knew I had to follow my heart.
They come from families with no money, and these children would never have an opportunity to, have this surgery and go on and live a somewhat normal life like all of us do and just take for granted. So it's a chance to give something back.
We try and help the individual countries develop their own programs. It's the old story of, is it better to give a starving person a fish or teach him to fish? And we finally made that transition, and it's quite different than coming into an area with a team of heart surgeons and doing a number of heart operations and then disappearing.
We sat down and we had a strategy session, and we went through what they were really good at and what they wanted to get stronger at and who they wanted to be and what their mission was, and they chose their mission. All of a sudden we saw a change. We saw this ownership take over.
The future of this partnership is going to be them becoming one of Children's HeartLink's regional trainers. We will use them as a training site for other programs that we work with in the country, programs for training more physicians and nurses, which are very important for this type of care.